Welcome to PK Woodworking, and thanks for showing up. Today is going to be a little different, like the last few videos have been. I threatened a while ago to talk about my audio video system inside of the shop, and now I'm at a point where I think I can actually dial the thing in and get everything set up so that it works properly. So that's what today is going to be. I'm going to put some videos probably up here of some of the installs that I did originally of all the speakers inside the shop. There's a ton in the ceiling. You can see some behind me in the wall. This setup right here, kind of in the south side of the shop, let's call it, is the audio AV kind of setup. And this is a 7.2.4 setup. So I've got a left, center, right speaker that are behind me in the wall. And I've got 8 speakers in the ceiling. So I've got 4 surround speakers and then 4 height or atmos speakers or Dolby DSX speakers, whatever you want to call them. And I've got 2 subwoofers that are on the ground also to give us better like balance of bass. And then behind the camera is another 4 speakers in the ceiling and a separate subwoofer that's just for music. So if I'm in the other part of the shop where I'm making stuff, I can just listen to music there and I don't necessarily have to have the TV on per se. So what do you need a TV in a shop for, whatever? Well, everybody's like all about, I watch my sports or this is my man cave or whatever. And yes, I do watch some sports back there every once in a while. But honestly, this is a lot about when I'm doing something and I want to learn or I want to put up some kind of instruction manuals or whatever that I'm going through. This is really a positive thing for me to be able to use. I've got over here on the side here, you may be able to see, you may not be able to see, but I have a surface out here that I use also, but that would be like bringing it right to the machine if I need to do something like that. But most of the time when I'm surfing the net or doing something like that, I'm doing it on this TV behind me, and you'll kind of see in a second where I've got the components all installed. So this behind me is the component cabinet. It's got a set of fans in the top that create positive pressure inside of this. Hopefully so that it doesn't get super dusty inside of it, and it hasn't at this point so far. But what's inside of it, got a receiver in there that's kind of the heart of this. It's a Marantz SR6014, and I'm using 8 of those channels to run all of the ceiling speakers. So it's got the amplifiers all redistributed to run those 8 speakers that are on the ceiling. And then below it, I've got a separate 3-channel amplifier from Emotiva to run the left, center, right speakers up front. Above that, I've got 2 Sonos amps, 1 for each pair of the speakers that are on the ceiling on the back side. And then I've got a Sonos Port that gives me access to that same Sonos music set that I would use on the home theater part of this. And then I've also got the small PC in there. It's an Intel NUC. And those things are pretty awesome to be able to use in a shop like this because they're literally the size of a little puck. And they're pretty powerful too at the same time. And then I've got Roku above that, which gives me YouTube TV, Netflix, Amazon, all those other things you might want to watch on the TV. I don't use the apps built into the TV for any of the video. I use the Roku instead for all the apps that would happen. It's a 4K Roku box, great video quality, and I don't have to worry about any kind of delay back and forth from audio return channel acceptor coming from the TV back to the receiver. Everything just goes from those boxes directly to the receiver, then out to the speakers, and it seems to work better that way. Slightly closer view of the cabinet and the wiring, etc. But I did my best to do some wire management here. You know, it is what it is. I had to add some things after the fact, including there's an access point behind this now inside the shop. And so cable coming out of there, I could probably do a little bit better for wire management. But in general, like this is what it is. And it's got all the space I need and hopefully protect all the components long term. This receiver has an Odyssey system built in, which has a microphone that you can put in a bunch of different spots across the places you would listen to the system at. And then it automatically calculates the distance of all the speakers so that it can put them all in time alignment based on where you normally are listening at. It does some equalization and then hopefully does a little bit of work for the subwoofers to even them out. So one cool thing about the Sonance subwoofers that I have right here is that they're wireless and they're connected to two little boxes that you probably saw earlier underneath there. One box controls the one that's down the wall wirelessly, and the other one controls the two 12-inch subwoofers that are kind of onto the side of me and behind me. And they have their own app, and their app has the ability to use an iPhone's microphone that's calibrated. They know what it's going to do, and they actually can level out and do some room correction for the subwoofers on their own, so that by the time you're using this microphone with your receiver's Odyssey system hopefully doesn't have to do as much work to correct the sub inside of the room. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my other tripod out, and I'm going to hook up this microphone to it, and then we're going to use the receiver's Odyssey and set the whole thing up. This is said microphone. So the whole goal here normally, if this is like a couch setup, is that this would be lower. You'd want to have it somewhere near where your ears are at. I'm going to put this just slightly lower than my ears just to see what happens. The cool part about this Marantz system is that as soon as I plug this into the receiver, it's going to set the receiver into this calibration mode. So let me plug this in. Hopefully this tracks me over to where I'm going. And then when I plug it into the receiver, I'll walk back over. You'll see the TV behind me should change. Aha! So this is the calibration kind of setup, and what I'm going to do is move it all around. We're not going to talk during most of this. I'm just going to back up the camera a little bit, and then we'll kind of let you look at what's going on in the TV instead of watching what I'm doing. So I went through and I assigned amps, checked the channels, did all those things. So let's go to start, and we'll get this going. I'm going to put this right behind the camera. Okay, so there you go. That's one set. The rest of them I'll fast forward through, but I'm going to do every one of these tests. But that's kind of what it looks like. Now it does all the calculations. So the calculations usually take a couple of minutes, I don't know, whatever. And then if something doesn't make sense, you can override it. There's actually an app also for Marantz that you can use to like decide not to equalize parts of the bands, whatever. I've currently got that set up for my home theater, so I don't want to get it confused and do both, but maybe I would someday just use a different email address or something like that. But anyways, I'm going to let it do the calculations. Okay, so you disconnect the microphone, and then you are ready to go. And there you go. So now I'll take a listen to it, see how it sounds. I'm not going to be able to put this stuff on video or sound because it'll give me a strike for, you know, like something that's copyrighted. But I'm going to check it out with a movie and I'll come right back. It's all set up and working great. And both subwoofers wirelessly, which is fantastic. And sound is great. I would love to be able to show you guys what the sound is, but YouTube just doesn't work that way. So anyways, you may say this is overkill. Well, yeah, it's overkill. And I'm just blessed to be able to have this in the shop. It's definitely something that's great when I'm just doing some work and it's quiet and I get to have some sound out here. It's really fantastic. Unfortunately, when I'm working and making videos, you can't really have any music in the background because it's just copyrighted stuff. So thanks for watching. This has definitely been a different video. I don't know if you can hear the difference between the videos that I made before the rubber was down on the ground and then after when the rubber was down on the ground, but the rubber on the ground definitely makes the sound quality far better than it was before. What it's going to be like now that I don't have the dust collector and the air compressor inside the shop in the next few weeks, you know, that is going to be a whole different thing. And hopefully it'll make even watching and listening to stuff even more comfortable and just a better experience for me. So again, thanks for watching this video. Definitely different, definitely no woodworking. But if you do have a shop, I really would suggest figuring out a way to do in-wall speakers, in-ceiling speakers. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't take away from the space you have in your shop. And also you don't run anything into it and knock it all over. So it's just kind of a bunch of benefits altogether. So thanks for watching. And the next one will be woodworking based.